Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors, the elders and apostles, the great millstone, who are teaching this truth in sincerity. And a shout out to your Akians out there in the four quarters of the earth proclaiming this truth. Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, Brakatam. So, out here another week prophesying the downfall of Basra, Babylon the Great, America, and many other names, right? Because America technically is not in the scriptures, but it is under different names. Because you see, like everything else, though, everything was written in parables. Everything was written for a time, and we're in that time now. You know, the time near the end of Esau Edom, and like everything else, though, who is Esau Edom? Well, you find out that that's also Rome. See, like everything else, though, Esau never really wanted you to know who he was. You know, that he is the Roman government, that he is, you know, well, he's the pale face, right? You know, because he made everybody believe that he was so-called white, but really deep down he was red, you know, had no pigment, you know. And the people of Yahweh Shai, the Israelites, were people of color, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and that's what's been taught for quite some time. And like everything else, though, you know, it wasn't taught for a long time, but you see, near the end, we would find out who we were, you know. And then you have the Israelite foreigners that may not look like, but still go back to being part of the 12 tribes. So everything's coming together, and yet the mark of the beast is still coming. You know, the mark of the beast is coming, and like everything else, so, you know, they are planning it. And you find out that Neuralink has everything to do with it. So, you know, that's what you're finding out, that the Neuralink technology is totally related. That's where the both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond come in. You know, no matter what, they want to reprogram you. They want to re-infrastructure you, right? You know, that's why everybody got Vanest, was because they were getting reprogrammed, you know, with nanotechnology. You know, because that's what it's really all about. You know, reshaping the world. I mean, if you listen to what these guys at the World Economic Forum have been saying all along, you know, they've been wanting to reshape the world. They want a new you, a better you. You know, that's what all these self-help guys are and everything else, though. See, they want you to mold you into their image, you know. So those that worship the image of the beast, that would not worship the image of the beast, should be killed, right? You know, causing all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive an implant in their hand or in their forehead. Well, that's where you find out that the Neuralink technology is all related. As this, you know, brother had forwarded this video, and it's right there, because this other guy, who appears to be an Edomite, had a total vision of this.
The mark of the beast is a chip. It creates a boil on your hand, and it will happen. I'm telling you, I saw it. Whenever I was in tribulation with the Lord, people were trying to fake this little chip. It's a lot like Neuralink. If you know what I'm talking about, Google Neuralink. It's like, messes with your brain. Okay? When the people get the chip, the mark of the beast, it creates an alternate personality. It alters your personality. It makes you calm. It sends out endorphins to your brain to make you calm. I'm trying to warn you, this is coming. I don't know if this chip exists yet, but it was very, very small. And with the instantaneously, when you get this chip, your body reacts to it. And I'm trying to warn you all that people will seek death and they will not be able to find it. Because when you try to do anything to harm yourself, okay, in any way, or harm anybody else, it sends a signal to your brain somehow and calms you down. It makes it where you are like on dopamine, and it's like all happy, and they're like zombies. They're not there in their eyes. And I warned everybody that they will use the drones by the thousands, searching the whole area always to see if your chip communicates to the drones in the sky. This will take place. And if you do not have a chip, whenever they scan your body and you are basically without one, they send the authorities to come and find you, and the drone stays on you with all kinds of technology like infrared and all kinds. You can't run. You can't get away from it. Okay? So it hovers over and it flies around and follows you the whole time until
And that's what they said before, didn't they? Didn't the scriptures already tell you that those that refused to get it would be killed? You know, what do you think these camps are being set up for, right? But see, part of the poor, well, what are they cleaning up? What's the state cleaning up? They're cleaning up encampments, right? You know, anybody that's just trying to survive or live off the grid, right? You know, so they're cleaning up encampments, you know, very guised as, of course, those that, you know, that are not deemed for society, right? You know, the outcasts, if you will, the homeless, right? Because that's what they're after. I mean, that's what Gavin Newsom has declared war on, is on the homeless, right? You know, because the Supreme Court of Justice has just approved, you know, that any state or county now can, you know, create more draconian laws against the homeless because it's illegal to be homeless. So that's what they're doing, is they're rounding people up. You know, now like everything else, so it's, for right now, it seems like a catch and release game, right? You know, oh, okay, you know, you're in violation of the law, and they release you, right? But eventually they're not going to release you. They're going to haul you off to a camp. You know, and it's going to start with them because, see, the cycle's already there. See, once they got the cycle going, and you're seeing people getting arrested or harassed for just being homeless or for being on the streets, you know, then people will be used to seeing people getting rounded up. And that's how they're going to round people up that refuse the MOTB. You know, and like everything else, so this may or may not stay on YouTube. I'm trying to keep it to stay on YouTube, you know, so I'm very careful about the wording, right? But you see, you will not be able to buy or sell, save ye that has it, right? You know, but it goes a lot deeper than that. You're going to be neuralinked, you know, and we know what that technology is. The reprogramming of everyone, right? You know, because they already have revealed, though, that, you know, the prison system, you know, that what they're doing is so that way you get reduced sentences. A lot of people are going to take that bargain, right? You know, for them to go in and reprogram you. They have the technology, you know. And they've been doing it for quite some time. You know, it's just now getting more and more towards the end, right? To where they're going to have to get everyone on that system. So like everything else, though, you know, it's coming. That's happening behind the scenes, right? You know, it hasn't been publicly announced that, yeah, you have to go down to your latest station to take the Neuralink, to take the MOTB. But eventually it will become mandatory. It's just a matter of time. You know, we deem this the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble, which is when they start doing that. Now, we're getting closer to that, but it hasn't happened yet. Because we got that shit show of an election coming up, you know, to where, hey, the homosexual agenda, the, you know, and pedophilia is all going to be normalized under Harris and her new running mate, Walz. I believe that's his surname. Walz, you know, like everything else. So, you know, and then, you know, we got on the flip side, Trump pretended to be the hero of the day when he's the one that locked down the entire nation, right? He locked it all down under the guise of the Chinese virus, right? You know, the Chinese virus that just mysteriously came, you know, this horrible, horrible monster that just came, right? You know, and you find out the whole thing has been nothing more than a hoax, you know, and yet they still got everybody there, right? Operation Warp Speed, you know, to be Vanest, you know. And like everything else, though, the misinformation campaign, you know, well, a lot of videos came down, right? You know, and for a while I was on the alternative channel, still am in the alternative channels. I don't trust YouTube as to keeping my videos on there, you know, but I'm trying to stay on to the best of my abilities. But you got to be very careful with the wording, because we know that they also go through the street lessons too. I mean, hey, a lot of brothers I used to look up, their channel name ain't the same because they've had to change channels, so that's kind of it, you know. But like everything else, so that means that a fan of the word is coming, right? And eventually, you know, they're going to take it down completely, you know. And that's all part of Jacob's trouble, right? When the fan of the word comes in, then we're not out here warning anymore. That just means that all hell's breaking loose, right? You know. And you can see that these warships are being brought in, right? You know, because they're still waiting for Iran to respond. But Iran's going to deal with Israeli state with a harsh blow. You know, that's why they're clearing the airfields. Now, that's still an impending attack. It hasn't happened yet, but it's getting closer to happening. You know, and you got, you know, Yemen in the battle. You got Lebanon in the battle, you know, a.k.a. Hezbollah and the Houthis. And then you got the Iraqi resistance groups, which they're all trying to say that Iran's behind all of it, right? You know, in that, oh, and then the Olympics, supposedly Iran is involved with that. Oh, and then the Taylor Swift concert, that those were Islamic terrorists. You see the phobia, right, that they're creating, Islamophobia, which they're all doing that on purpose, and we know who's behind it. These Israelis, these Amalekites, because they're the ones that control the narrative, they control the media, but their narrative is falling apart. A lot of people know that there's really no such thing as the Islamic terrorists anymore, and this has been nothing more than a hoax. Most people know that 9/11 was an inside job, and that it wasn't just some guy in a cave hiding somewhere that caused all that, that this was done from the inside. Well, of course, duh. People are finding out that their own government is against them, right? You can obviously see how much the government doesn't give a fuck about the people, right? Because if they did, they'd be doing more to help them, but they don't help the people. This government is what it is, right? You're left to die. I mean, that's what happened with Benghazi, right? They went in and then they were killed, and then the president just kind of says, "Oh, that's just another." What did he say that? That was just another stumbling block. No, he said, that was just another bump in the road, and that's all you really are to them, right? You go out, you do the work for them, and then you're just another bump in the road, because these politicians never ever had to fight a war. They send you to die for them. You send your sons and daughters to fight for these bastards and whores, right? Defend what? To defend what? The homosexuals? The homosexual agenda? To defend the pedophile, the person that raped your daughter? Because these new bathroom laws? See, it's been corrupt for quite some time. A lot of this shit goes back to Obama, and what he brought with Obamacare. But yet, in the Obamacare bill, it was there, though, that, you would have to receive an implant, Now, they changed the words around a little bit, but it did talk about a charagma, right? That you would have to receive it, AKA, type 2 information, and type 3, as in medical devices, right? But it was in the Obamacare bill. House Resolution Bill, originally 3200, then became 3590, then became House Resolution Bill 3960, and you can still look that one up. It's all there. And that eventually they were going to implant people with the device. Well, that Neuralink device, right? Because Neuralink is, all a part of it. That's just part of it. AKA, you got DARPA and you got all these other companies, right? The Saudis that made the killer chip, if people got out of line, they could push a button and then they could kill them right there. They have those too. It's all there, but this is what causes the grievous sores on them, right? Because there have been people that have actually gotten the implants from years ago, and I remember them talking about, the grievous sores. Not to mention they've been putting it in animals for years. I mean, you can't even go anywhere that doesn't offer the micro C-hip for your pets, right? And in some cities and states, and I think all over UK, but I definitely know in the Houston area, they make it mandatory that you have to have a chip inside of your pet, so that way they can track your every movement through your pet, but they eventually want to put this into people. So, so they got people used to that, and hey, I even got an email from good old Amazon, right? Because of course, I have Amazon Prime because, I still shop on the internet here and there. They've made it to where a lot of things that you want to get, you probably won't be able to find it locally, right? So you just end up having to go there. So yeah, I have a Prime account, and sure enough, I got pay with your palm, right? They sent me an email about how easy it is to set up to pay with your palm. Well, I don't want that shit, because that's too close to what, but that's what they're doing, is getting everybody ready to accept at the wave of a hand to go cardless, that you are your micro C-hip. Even Donald Trump told you that it's like a micro C-hip. Now, they, of course, like everything else, have shut this up, and they said that it was misinformation, but yet he said it was his own words, because you see, their tongues fall upon them, what their plans really are. They give you lots of spoiler alerts. But, like everything else, though, we know that, the least the flock is going to draw everybody into this war, and you can see that all lining up, with what the scriptures say about that. And yet, at the same time, you see Magog being a guard unto these places, so you see all that build up. So the only thing left for them is to push the MOTB. And it's coming. They have the infrastructure. They have the towers. They have it ready. It's just a matter of time that they create events. Now, you've been hearing a lot about monkey butt lately. You know, that monkey butt is back, you know. Hey, they were planning for the next pandemic, right? So we'll see if they lock everything down for monkey butt, you know, which is caused by sodomy, pretty much, is what causes monkey butt. And, so-called Social Security numbers were hacked, right? A big cyber attack. Well, did you not hear recently that they were planning a cyber attack? And that, of course, they're going to blame it on Iran intelligence services. Not Russia anymore. Now it's Iran. Iran's doing all the hacking, right? Because they really want a war with Iran. Well, that's just it, though, is that they're going to keep on increasing these so-called events. You know, just getting everything ready, you know. And so, like everything else, though, you know, we're just watching the times. You know, in and of itself, seeing what the Most High will say, right? You know, because that's what a watchman does. You know, we see events taking place, and we know that we have the outline as to what's going to happen. You know, so none of this will catch us by surprise. It might catch a lot of other people off guard, but pretty much so, you know, we have a, you know, we've been given a forewarning on what's going to happen. Now, you got this going on too, as well. You know, because, hey, they're bringing back the selective service. You're automatically in the selective service. So they're getting people ready to fight that war. Slovakia. It's a commercial. Let me skip that.
What did I tell you, folks? It's only been 48 hours since I warned you that we had an insider come to us and say that there was going to be a massive cyber attack, something to do with cyberspace here in the United States of America. And now we have almost every social security number of every single human being living inside of the USA has been leaked to the internet. Now, this has huge implications for the
So they're
election
going to set up a
process.
new
It has
Neuralink
large
for you.
implications for your credit score. It has a lot of implications for the trust that people have in government. There is a algorithm that suggests that once people's trust in government goes a little bit too far, becomes a little bit too little, then you have civil war. And I think we're getting very, very close to that time. Now, we do have a lot of big things happening between Russia, China, and Iran. There is a lot going on, but my fear is that this cyber attack warning isn't over yet. I do think that we're going to have some sort of infrastructural attack or some sort of sabotage attack here in the USA very soon, and we're actually starting to see some information come out of DARPA and some information come out of
they're the ones that want to
NSA,
Neuralink
the
you,
National
aren't they?
Security Agency, warning that they have been trying to get white hat and black hat hackers, basically good guys that work for money, bad guys who do it for money and fame and everything else, to install viruses and install backdoors into electrical companies, nuclear power plants, water treatment plants, your garbage, the mail, everything. They want them in there so that the United States government can exploit them and then take
fire
zero
sale.
blame for what happens next. So are we going to see some sort of blackout happen very soon? It's very likely we might. We could see some sort of water sabotage where millions of people are poisoned, or at least thousands and thousands of people are poisoned. So I want you to really keep your ears to the ground, really know what's happening over the next couple of days. And then we have the next serious warning that's very scary to me. I just got a warning that they're going to put Donald Trump in prison during the election process, and then he's going to get elected as president from within prison, or some sort of house arrest, or some sort of court-ordered prison state. So if this happens, I have a lot of concern that we're going to be seen as a joke government, a joke country to the rest of the world, that you're electing a felon, or that you're electing someone who's in jail. Now, there's a lot of legitimacy issues here. I don't think he should be going to jail for what he is in.
Slovakia. But you get that point, right? That they are setting this whole thing up. You know, Donald Trump being elected while in prison. Yeah, that's an interesting scenario, right? All hell's about to break loose here. So they're going to unleash it. They're going to unleash hell because they're going to create more and more false flags, saying that, you got all these pro-Trumpers that are causing riots, right? Hey, this devil's planning a civil war because it's the only way he can destroy everything from within, right? Destroy the people from within it, right? Because the government has always been corrupt. But you see, they want to become the gods of the earth, right? So like everything else, though, we know that Esau knows that his time is short, right? To get their new world order in order. 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 14, it reads, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein." World means the third world war that comes quickly, right? "The sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another." That's talking about, civil war, uprisings, and swords in their hands. "There shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. In the course of their actions shall stand in their power." Meaning that they ain't going to care about any laws anymore. All hell's about to break loose. "Man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Because of the pride, the cities shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid." Because again, all hell's about to break loose. "Man shall have no pity upon their neighbor, but will destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods, because of lack of bread and for great tribulation." And like everything else, though, that's something they've been planning for quite some time. Order out of chaos. That's the whole memo there. That's their whole dialect, is to have order out of chaos. So it's coming, They are planning it. And then they plan to implement the MOTB just right after the Civil War, right? To get everybody calm down, Because again, it produces lithium. I mean, what is lithium? Lithium is a calmer, okay? So we know that lithium controls batteries. And definitely lithium causes cancer, causes grievous sores, if you have too much lithium, That's why these electric cars are a fucking joke, man. Is when they catch fire, you can't even put out the fire because of the lithium batteries. But you see, that's what's in the micro C-HIP is the lithium. So the lithium is going to calm you down. So the moment you think about doing something, it releases a little more lithium into you. See, when it releases so much lithium into you, what do you think's causing the grievous sores? You see how that goes? Yeah, even the craziest fucking killers are going to release lithium into them that have been implanted with this, right? So the moment they think about killing, well, that's more lithium released into them. So now they're more sedated, more docile, because lithium just keeps people docile and asleep. I mean, what do you think's in those chemtrails, Of course they're spraying us with lithium. Of course they're putting lithium in the water, We're being programmed, but they want to program inside of you. That's why it's going to become a requirement very soon that everybody must receive this, right? Because it's going to have a whole infrastructure network. The network is already there. It's just a matter of time until they implement it. What do you think the towers were all for, right? So that way they can have their grid and they can see who has it and who doesn't when they do their scan systems, right? So you're not going to be able to just be off the grid. That's why you pray the Most High be with you. So we're scanning, looking for people that don't have it, and the people that don't have it will be rounded up. Well, it really starts with rounding up the homeless first now, doesn't it, right? Because those that refuse that can't buy or sell, so of course they're going to round up the homeless. And you're already getting used to the idea that they're rounding up homeless and that they're cleaning up encampments, right? So everybody's used to that, used to seeing those that are homeless, right? But most people that are homeless never thought that they would become homeless, but you see, they're there now. And these people that live on top that don't think that they'll become homeless, they can't see that they're about to be the next guy out too. That almost everybody that's out there on the streets never thought that they would be on the streets. But what happened? Well, you had a false flag, aka a fake pandemic in 2020 that accelerated things. Now, like everything else though, poverty and trying to get a job and all those things, right? Well, what if you're either underqualified or you're overqualified or you just don't meet the qualifications anyways? A lot of people end up in this category. Some people have been working at a job for over 10 years and then they get laid off or they get fired because something happened one day, or just the place went out of business. I mean, lots of things have been going out of business, right? So they weren't able to secure another job. Guess where they ended up? And then you got these politicians just making merchandise of them, right? You know, just saying, oh, we're going to do all these great things to help them. But now we must clean up the encampments. We must clean up the city, right? You know, Newsom telling everybody that, you got encampments here. We're not going to fund you. We're going to defund you, right? Like defund the police, etc. You know, so we're just not going to give you any funding anymore. So, hey, that's what is happening. You know, and we knew that this was happening. I mean, I talked about this for a long time, you know, and I know that other brothers have talked about this issue, right? You know, that, the homeless will be the first to be rounded up. Well, it's already happening. You know, it's just a matter of time that it's no longer catch and release and that they're implementing them. You know, they'll be the first to be implanted because they're the easiest to catch. Because nobody really cares, because everybody else sees them as a nuisance, right? You know, everything that goes wrong is always blamed on the poor, the impoverished, right? You know, it's never these rich cocksuckers that, have kids that are just fucking spoiled that go fucking destroying stuff. No, it's got to be the poor. It's got to be the homeless that did that, right? You see trash everywhere. You see graffiti everywhere. Who's getting the blame for that? Right. Yeah, they're not blaming that millionaire's son that's just a spoiled fucking little biatch. You know, they're not blaming that little biatch. You know, they're blaming the homeless for it. And I see rich fucking cocksuckers all the time dumping trash out of their fucking vehicles on the side of the road. You know, because guess what? They're not going to get blamed for it. These rich fucking cocksuckers that don't want to fucking take their garbage to the dumps, so they just dump it on the side of the road so that way they can blame it on the homeless. You know, oh, well, this trash is everywhere because of the homeless. And that's been going on for a long time. I mean, I've been seeing it throughout all the years. You know? You're just cracking down more and more on the homeless. You know? And, hey, it's probably a lot worse. I bet you, 10 to 1, I bet you that even in San Francisco that it's rich cocksuckers that are dumping the trash and then blaming it on the homeless. Because I see that already in Reading. You know? See, if they could fully elect, they would, but we don't trust the mainstream. We know that the mainstream news, Amalek, controls that, you know, so, and a lot of people know that, the narrative, they look to alternative media, and that's why they eventually want to clamp down on this. So with the cyber attack, you know, the so-called Social Security numbers, now they got to come up with a new infrastructure system, a Neuralink, to be able to track everyone, right? Because, you got hacked. Your Social Security numbers were hacked in this fake attack, because that's what it is. That's what a false flag is a fake attack. And they'll probably say that Iran intelligence did it, right? Because that's what they said with another cyber attack that happened. You know, that it was Iran intelligence that did it. You know, like Iran really gives a fuck who's president, right? The U.S. has been an enemy for a very, very long time. It even goes back to Reagan and even Carter. They're all enemies of Iran, so it didn't matter who was president, whether it's Clinton or it's Bush or Obama. They're all enemies, right? So why would they even care about the election? Pretty much, though, they've been fighting against the New World Order for some time, but it's still part of the New World Order because that's not how it works anyways. The New World Order, well, look at what the World Health Organization did, right? It was a worldwide lockdown. Iran had a lockdown. Syria had a lockdown, right? You know, so the World Health Organization is a one world power, right? So if you got a one world power with that, well, what about a one world government? Does that exist? Yes, it does exist. It's called the United Nations. That's that one world government. And they'll take over. They took over Libya, didn't they? You know, think about it. That one world government, NATO, you know, which is the 7 heads and 10 horns, right? 10 European nations and 7 members of NATO. It's what makes up NATO. So like everything else, though, the beast, you know, that's the infrastructure. That's its ruling power. And they're going to cause all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a micro C-hip that you will not be able to buy or sell, save ye that has it. And it's all part of a Neuralink. Hey, you know, we've been warning you about this for years, but now others are coming out, right? And letting you know what it is, you know? And sooner or later, you're going to have to make a decision, you know? Well, the elect have already made the decision that they're not going to get it, you know? But there's still a lot of potential members, you know, potentials, you know, for those that are the elect. you know, to repent in time, which is why we still come out here, is for the elect, you know, because not all Israelites are going to be saved. Just because you know you're an Israelite, that doesn't save you. What saves you is when you proclaim this truth, right? You know, and I don't mean just saying, oh yeah, I'm an Israelite. We proclaim this truth by going out here and teaching the word of Yahweh Shai while there's still time. You know, so there's still time to get it. You know, to repent now and to turn back to the Most High. You know, and stop with all these wickedness. You know, but like everything else, so there's going to be a famine of the word very soon. So, you know, get this while you still can. That's what we keep telling you. You know. So hopefully all this has been edifying. For that I want to say, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, Wa Abab Babal. Brakathum to hopeful elect. The MOTB is a lot more sooner than you think it is. Shalom.